everybody. This is Teryn at the Girlz Ink studio in Las Vegas, and welcome to my podcast, Tatter-a-fact. Today, we have one of my favorite people ever. Yeah? You are one of my favorite people.
Hi. Yeah. Yes.
You're still one of my favorite people, even though you left.
Aw. I love you.
I love you, too. Yeah, but, I mean, Amber, it's only been 2 weeks, and you're already fucking back.
I know. Actually, I was only gone a week.
You was only gone a week.
Too.
You came back last Sunday for our Instagram Live.
Yep.
I know.
Told you couldn't get rid of me.
No. I know, and we've been scheming a little bit on how to get rid of her, haven't we, Olivia? But she just keeps coming back. No, but I'm glad you're back. So yeah. So welcome to, do you like your mug?
I like my mug.
Right, the Tatter-a-fact mugs. Mm-hmm. You can leave it here. You can leave it in the cupboard.
Don't steal it.
Well, you don't have your own space in the cupboard anymore.
Excuse me. Wait a second.
You'll have to talk to Stephanie or Amy about that. Someone might have stole your space.
I'm going to take all my notes back.
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah, let's not talk. No, they'll see their notes by the time this airs. But you went around to all the rooms and left them little love notes. Little love notes. Mm-hmm. That's so sweet. I know. No, you can leave your mug in my cupboard space.
Oh, good. Oh, thank you.
So you don't have to keep bringing it back. Because I'm not going to keep giving you a brand new Tatter-a-fact mug every time you come up.
Can I put my name on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll put a big A on the bottom or something.
Amy's name starts with an A.
Oh, then we'll put M.A.
Miss Red, Amber Red.
M.R. Miss Red? Okay, something like that. You'll know what to do. All right. So, yeah. So, well, let's first start. You were with me and Girlz Ink for over 6 years. A little over 6 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got a wild hair up your ass.
Yeah.
And you wanted to open your own place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you've done that. So, you've been, your last day here was what, like the end of January, right?
Yeah.
So you've been up in your new studio, what, 2 weeks, Amber, or three? About 3?
I think about 3 weeks.
So how?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
I don't know.
Yeah. So how's it going?
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's scary.
It's scary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's different because it's quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I imagine it's different. I mean, I would imagine you love it because I remember, I was in a big salon, in a little room, big 12,000 square foot salon with like 60 or 70 people. And I left there for a little bit to go someplace really, really quiet. It was a doctor's office. And it was really different. It was really, really different. It was hard to get used to. And then I came here and opened this place. So when I finally had my own studio with my name on the building, Girlz Ink, I would walk around the studio, Amber, and just like, thank God. I mean, I would just be so thankful and just like say thank you a million times. I couldn't believe it was mine. So
I don't have my name on the building yet.
Not yet?
No.
But it's still your little studio. It's your place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it must feel really, really good. So probably you love it, but it's just weird. Because you've been here, so you started your career here. You don't know any other place but here, and now your new place for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. And I've called Michonne a few times to ask her for advice.
I know. It will feel more and more and more like home, and like that's where you belong. And, the longer you've been there, and get it decorated. I can't ask you about decorating.
You'll start crying.
Because you're going to start crying. Okay, so you told me you had a mental breakdown last night because you were having a hard time deciding on decorations.
Because Kat's so good at decorating things, and then I didn't want to bug her, so I was trying to pick out a couch, and then I just gave up on picking out a couch and said, fine, it doesn't need a couch. So I've just basically refused to decorate the place. So if anybody comes and sees it, it's empty.
It's empty. There's a bed.
Yeah, there's a tattoo bed. That's it.
Tattoo bed. That is so funny. Yeah, but that stuff will come in time.
Yeah.
And trying to decide like your motif. Well, I know you're going to be like black and red, but picking the right stuff, because you don't just be any old thing. Especially you. You're a lot like me. When someone walks into your studio, you want it to be different. Like, oh my God, I've never seen that piece before. You want things to be unique and different. That's why with Girlz Ink, we upcycled. We went and bought a bunch of old furniture. Some of it was rickety, and we had to have it, reinforced and fixed, and we painted and all that stuff. I just wanted unique pieces throughout the studio.
I was just telling Kat that the front desk is actually a bar that we found at the Charleston Antique Mall.
Oh, see, that's
so
cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, but you're cool and unique and different. You're very different. So
I don't know if that's a good thing.
No, I mean that in all the good ways. You know that. But you're different. Your style, your vibe, everything about you is different and unique, so your place will represent that in time. Yeah. So I wouldn't put too much pressure on yourself or be too hard on yourself about that. It'll come. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. So I think people were shocked that you left. Even my close friends like Will and Mary and, so I didn't tell anybody. And I think that kind of surprised you. I mean, I told you I wasn't going to tell anybody, but I did not. That was your decision, and it was something you and I were going through together, your transition out of here into your own place. And then one day you just told me, okay, I'm going to announce it. I'm ready to announce it. And I know you were afraid to announce it. I know you had anxiety, wondering how people were going to react. And everybody reacted fantastic, But so it was a little scary. It was scary for you to tell me.
Yeah, it was really scary to tell you.
Yeah, I know.
I sat on it for probably longer than I should have. And then, the conversations, it's hard. It's one of those things that's just hard because there was I tell everybody, I still tell everybody, I'm like, it's one of those things. It's not that I wanted to leave. I tried to shut that stupid voice off, whatever that is in my head. There's nothing wrong with Girlz Ink. It's freaking amazing. It's the best place in the world. I think everybody knows that. And it's just, I'm not going to cry.
Don't cry.
It's something that I just wish I wish that I could shut it off, but then there's a part of me that wishes, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean.
It's exciting and it's fun, but it's also scary as shit.
Yeah. You're a lot like me, Amber. You're really, really ambitious. You have that entrepreneurial spirit and that drive, and it's just in you. It's in you, and I think, Kat and I, certainly Michonne saw that in you, long before you ever thought you'd open up your own place.
I think before I even knew anything.
Before you even knew it, yeah. So it wasn't it didn't take me, it wasn't shocking. Yeah, it was heartbreaking. I wish I could make you stay here forever because I love you and, we've been together for so long. But it's like your best friend, moving out of state, it's kind of how it felt. So, but but everybody reacted really, really good. Mm-hmm. And I think what's important for people to know is that you and I kept it private for our own personal reasons. And we talked through this. We never even had a difficult talk. You thought that I was going to hate you.
I thought the world was going to end.
Yeah.
Literally,
You probably told me 3 or 4 times I thought you were going to hate me. I can't believe you were reacting so positive. And it broke my heart that you thought Kat and I would hate you. Yeah. I thought you knew me better than that.
I guess I just, seeing from the industry, definitely not from your guys' character. Not at all. I guess just from the basis of seeing it, other situations play out with other people in the industry and just seeing all, it's just something you don't see. Somebody leaves and then the person's mad. So it's one of those things I guess you're kind of just molded to believe, but it's good to know that it can happen, and it can happen beautifully.
It can happen beautifully. Well, I think we both did the right thing by each other, right? When I took you on, and Michonne, and the 2, new apprentices now, when you take on an apprentice.
You said you were going to have tissues in here.
Yeah, but when you take on an apprentice, for me personally, it wasn't just about teaching you how to do permanent makeup procedures really, really good. It wasn't just that for me, Amber. It was about also teaching you girls how to be your best, business skills, to teach classes if you want, to have the courage to do and go after whatever you wanted in this career. And I know I harp that on you guys a lot, and
I think I always said too, I'm like this, like you did this, like
yeah,
like it's your fault, Teryn. No,
yeah.
but you are who formed us to be able to believe we could even do something like this.
Yeah.
So I mean,
because I always believed you could if you wanted it. If you worked really hard, if you listened to me and did what I told you to do.
My own parents didn't even like tell me that in life. So
no.
I'm like, it definitely that definitely came from just you being a good mentor.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, more than good. Probably the best, but
yeah. Well, and I saw something really special with you and, Michonne, and so I, and I just wanted to be there for you. And if you wanted to travel, I wanted to make sure that happened for you. If you wanted to go on stage like ATB, I want to make sure that happened for you. I wanted to, play a role and help you achieve whatever you wanted to achieve. And I don't have this fear of you being better than me, or, my apprentice might grow up and get more followers than me, or you might get asked to speak at more conferences than me. I never had those fears. It's the last thing.
I think that's what it takes.
Yeah.
To be a good mentor. I think that.
Yeah. You can't have those fears, because if you have those fears as a mentor, then you're going to place your fears, right, on your apprentice, and you're going to put boundaries and restrictions because you have those fears. And I never, ever had those fears with you girls. And I just don't. Maybe that's just the way I'm made. I don't know. Did you ever feel I had those fears with you?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I was like, you still, I think I just said before we started this, we were just talking in the back. And I think I said, like, you're still continuing to push me outside my comfort zone. Like, even with stuff like this, it's like you're still pushing me along. And I'm like, really, you should be like, what the F, Amber? Like, you're not here anymore. Like, I don't care. Get out of here. But no, you're still doing that. So,
well, because you're just getting cranked up, girl. I mean, you're 6 years into this. There's a lot left in you. There's a whole lot more left in you than there is left in me. I mean, I've been in this, going on 21 years. So at some point, my career will start to slow down a little bit. And I think you're just at that sweet spot. And I always want to be here for you. I know PMU.
Yeah.
Well, it's just in my blood.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful, sacred craft. And I love it. I love all aspects of it. And I just feel, and I love you. I think you're a good girl. And I know, you would never hurt me or Kat or Michonne, or you're just a good girl. You're a good human being. And we love you dearly.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I try.
We all try. We all have days we falter and we're not perfect
I'm
human.
mad today. Leave me alone.
Yeah, because you're moody.
Yeah.
Are you not moody?
Yeah, and I'm sensitive and I cry.
Sensitive. I think probably the worst thing with you is I can deal with your moods. But the worst thing I think about you, or not the worst thing like for me per se, but for your own self, that's torturous to your own self, and is you will get something in your head negative, and then you make it real.
Yeah.
Even though it's not real.
Well, definitely. Like, even with like the conversation before I had you and I had, I was like, oh, I'm leaving. Okay. It didn't happen like that. But you know what I mean? Like, before that conversation even happened, I had turned it into this whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Like, I just couldn't, like, by the time of what I had done to it in my own head, I like literally, I'm like, I don't even know how I even had this conversation at that point, because I had turned it into something else that I didn't, when it wasn't even like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think I'm not going to go too deep into what I'm about to say, but I had a bad experience with my own mentor when I was ready to spread my wings and go explore and do some things with other people, that wasn't received very well. And, and that's all I'll say about that. And it hurt me deeply. And I had to deal with that. And you and I have talked in great lengths and in depth about that situation and what it did to me, how it broke my heart. And I promised you and Michonne, I would never, ever do that to you, no matter what. right?
I knew that deep down somewhere in there.
Yeah. If you decide to go open up your own place, I will
Yeah.
be there for you, and I will support you, and I will love you just as much. And it's not a betrayal, you know. And let's just go back to what you said before about, other apprentices or artists leaving their mentors. And we've all seen that not go down very well on social media. You know, the mentor, sometimes will go after the artist and blame them for this and that, and it's a betrayal, and then they don't want them teaching their techniques and their new blah, blah, blah. It can be messy. You know, I've seen it, countless times. And I'm just so grateful we didn't have to deal with that, man, at all. And I had a few people reach out to me. Am I okay? What about her training?
Right.
I had that, and I just, hey, and I told them exactly what I told you that day. You earned your right to train your students, your one-on-ones, everything I freaking taught you. You earned that.
I'll never do a big class without you anyways, so it
Well,
doesn't matter.
no, but you do your privates one-on-ones.
Just one-on-ones, that's it.
Yeah, and I think that's what some people think. Well, you taught her everything, and now she's leaving,
Yeah.
and she's teaching all your techniques. And, well, okay, but if you're going to take on artists, you got to think about that stuff.
Right.
You and I had that conversation. You're in your own studio now. What if you take on an apprentice? You're going to have to think about all that stuff, Amber. Are you the type of person that if you spent, a few years teaching them and then they decide to leave
Right.
and open up their own place, how are you going to internalize that? How are you going to feel about that? Are you going to feel it's a betrayal? Are you going to...
I'm like, well, I had the best example, so I
Right.
have no other option.
That's right. And you lead by example.
Right.
And I do think you had a great experience here with
Yeah.
me and Kat and transitioning out in your own studio. And so I'm confident when you have your own apprentices, you will also extend that gracefulness
Absolutely.
and generosity to your
Yeah.
artists, right? Because that's what it's all about. You can't own someone,
Right.
you just can't. You just can't do that. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't that bad. You didn't bawl. You didn't ruin your mascara.
Oh.
You didn't cry.
I got those me lashes on right now today.
Oh, Jen Boyd's
Yes, I
me
do.
lashes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
they're
have
great.
them. Yeah.
Look how full they are.
They look so good.
I didn't put any eyeliner on because then if I cried, I would cry off the eyeliner.
cry
But
off
these
the
lashes
eyeliner.
aren't going nowhere. So
Yeah. No, that's totally
Safe.
cool. They look good. They look good. So, yeah. So we're proud of you. And I know, everybody in the industry that knows you is proud of you and they're super happy. So,
And I'm over
Yeah.
here scared shitless. It's all right. It's cool. I got it, guys. It's okay.
you
Oh,
got it. You
goodness.
got it, girl. All right. So let's talk about some eyeliner stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
that's kind of like your jam,
Yeah.
right? Winged eye. What do you think is like really your jam? If you had to pick one, is it eyebrows? Because you do
Oh.
everything good, or is it winged eyeliner? Like, is that
It's-
your jam?
It's wing eyeliner.
Winged eyeliner.
Yeah. I tried to deny it because it's a pain in the ass, but
What?
it's wing eyeliner.
What, tattooing winged eyeliner is
Yes.
a pain in the ass?
Yes,
It
because
is.
there's so much that goes into it. There's
Yeah.
a stretch. And I mean, that's with everything. But the eyeball, like, even if you have a good stretch, the eyeball still moves around and they still tear and they still, like, the lashes get in your way. And
Yeah.
so I try to talk myself out of it, but just, yeah.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, and it is stressful. I always say, I hate eyeliner till it's done, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's so stressful. Your pits get sweaty. And
Every
your-
single time still.
Every single time, no matter how good you are, no matter how
Yeah.
long you've been doing it, it's stressful. I don't pretend it ain't, and we do good eyeliners, man, but it's still stressful.
It's stressful just drawing on wing eyeliner, let
Yeah.
alone tattooing on a wing
Yeah,
eyeliner.
yeah. So let's talk about that. So some people think that because you do big wings.
Yeah.
You do big wings. Some people think that big wings should not be tattooed on women, on people's faces, because they're not going to age well or, whatnot. I've seen all kinds of things. But there are some people that are adamant and they really feel strongly those big wings should be tattooed on people. So what do you say to that?
I always just say as long as they're, designed properly to fit each individual. I think a lot of people don't take that into consideration, the fact that they are individually designed per person.
Right.
So every single eye you get, even one person can have two different eyeballs. So, yeah, just making sure you're designing them safely to age beautifully is kind of the key.
Yeah. Yeah. So we do a class called Wedge and Wing. And because I started out in my career doing these big old wings, and I incorporated a couple little techniques to get the angle right, you know? And so I taught you my little mapping techniques, and then you took that and added to it.
Yeah.
So between the two of us, we came up with this really great mapping,
Yeah.
right? It was fantastic. It's fantastic.
And it literally works for, it works for every single eye you get.
Yeah, it works so good.
Yeah.
And it's just a design course. You can get it on girlzink.com. It's just a design course. There's no tattooing.
Super affordable.
Super affordable.
Yeah.
I think it's like $150,
Yeah.
right? And
A great board with continued support.
yeah, and we teach it together.
Yeah.
So you teach how to do the real big wing, and then I go in, I talk about mapping and how to do the little wedges that I do now. So when you're designing the wing, what are a couple of, I don't want you to give the class away, but what are a couple of the little things that you're looking for? Because you're really studying the real estate, right?
Literally, the second they walk in, I already know.
Yeah.
I'm like, instantly, I look at
So what are you
certain
looking
things. Yeah.
for? First of all, let me ask you this. Out of everybody that comes in to get their wings done, how many do you decline because they're not a good
gosh.
candidate?
Probably 95%.
95%.
Yeah,
That
lot.
high?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a
okay,
lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people, it's a lot. I don't, okay, so maybe like 1 in 15 I'm talking like a big wing.
like the wings we see on your Instagram.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I think, too, everybody thinks that they're, because I do post a lot of them. So I think everybody's seeing, but I get asked to do a lot more of them. So I'm saying no
Yeah.
a lot more, but I'm also doing a lot more because
Yeah.
everybody is seeking that specific look.
Yeah, and not everybody does it well, Amber.
Yeah.
That's an art there's eyeliner, right? And then there's winged eyeliner, which is another whole
I've been told it kind of looks like a sticker. I'm like, yeah.
yeah, but anybody that's going to wear a winged eyeliner, don't they want it black
Yeah.
and solid?
And straight and
crisp
Yeah.
and bold and striking.
Yes.
That's the
Talking my
client.
language.
Yeah, I dig that too.
Yeah.
I used to wear that eyeliner, when I was a little younger,
Yeah.
but I'm a little bit older now, and I used to tattoo that stuff like crazy. I loved big wings. I did it as much as you did, and perfected it. And then you came along, and I don't know. You stole my wing clientele.
It's the red hair. The red hair did it.
Yeah, but I think that's what happens in your career. I become a little bit older, a little bit mature, and then a different clientele seeks me out for a little bit more conservative look.
Well, and I was going to say, too, on the, like, you were talking about wedge and wing a little bit. I was going to say, like, I do say no a lot to the wings, but then that's when your technique comes in, because I'm like, you may not be able to have a wing, but you can have a wedge, and people still love that too, because it still gives the eye a nice lift on that, on that outside corner. So
yeah, because most women are looking for. I had like a 72, 73-year-old lady in here last week, and I designed her eyeliner, but she wanted
a corner,
a corner.
Nice,
yeah, and she did say wing, so it like shocked me. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, honey, you can't have a wing, but you are, and it's something. So you're looking for a little lift on that corner, like a
Right.
little corner, like a tail. And I showed her a picture of something I had done similar on a lady her age, and she really liked that. So they're just looking for like this corner, right?
Yeah, so it's really good to know both, because even with the wedge style, it gives them a place to then add their wing on.
Yeah. You know how I feel? I want to see if you feel this way. I feel that artists like you and I and a handful of others that do this packed black, I call it black, packed, and stacked, right? Black, solid, crisp, bold, striking. I'm not really doing the big wings, but I do the wedge, and you do the big wings. Like that look, we're a dying breed. Do you think that there's just not that many that do that look in the industry? Everybody's going towards this transparent, low saturation, pixely,
like super soft, super natural.
soft kind of look, which I love.
Yeah.
I love on some people, and I love doing it. You and I can do that look.
Yeah.
But that's not typically what we get asked for. You know, we're in Vegas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it depends on where you live too. Like, I would assume Miami probably gets
a lot of that,
more saturated, you know, more
Yeah.
more striking looks, and then, you know, Vegas as well as with the wings, and I think places like that. So
yeah,
but it's good to know both.
yeah, it's really good to know both. So when you're designing a wing, so what would disqualify someone for a wing? So a client comes in and you're like, no, you know, you don't qualify, I can't do it. What would be those defining factors? What would have to be going on with her eye for you to say, no, you can't have one of my famous wings?
I'd say like the eyelid, first the eyelid spacing, or if they have a hooded eyelid. So you're looking at all those creases. If they do have lots of creases, that could disqualify them. If they have two eyes that are totally different, you know, one eye has more space, one eye has less space, that disqualifies them. If they're super veiny, that could disqualify them. There's lots of things to take into consideration when doing it.
Yeah. And a lot of people have two different
shaped
eyelids. Like one eyelid can be, you know, that open, and the other
I even have that. I have one eye that's, I used to say, is my lazy eye, because it just has less eyelid space.
Yeah.
So it looks a little like wonky.
Looks a little wonky.
Yeah.
So, you know, then wings, I mean, and we have seen our work back for years and years and years. So if a big wing is done on the right person, it's designed and mapped out properly, you know, they age beautifully.
Yep.
They do. So let me ask you this. The other comment that I see why big wings shouldn't be done is, well, what if they change their style? What if they don't want that big old wing out there in 5 years? Well, you know, I know what you're going to say, because
what am I going to say?
I know what you're going to say, you know, but we take that into consideration, don't we, Amber? Because I think when you design wings and you're going to tattoo wings, you've got to think 5-10 years ahead for that client, because sometimes they just want what they want in the moment. They want that wing and they're not thinking in the future.
And they really want what they want in the moment. Like, you have to really, really stand your ground, because they want what they want.
Yeah.
So just as long as, I would say, there's a couple things you can do. As long as you keep it within your eyelid crease. I don't know how much detail I should go in on that, but just keep it within your eyelid crease, your design. And then also like pigment selection. So how we layer the pigments in is another thing that we do. So
meaning you would not tattoo the wing portion in a carbon.
Right. Right. Just iron oxides. That way it fades quicker, or hopefully fades quicker in time versus the carbon that could last like 20 plus years.
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, look, on occasion, you know, everybody thinks black iron oxide fades out so much faster than a carbon.
Right.
And not LI pigments.
Right.
not onyx. I mean, that sucker, you've worked on some of my eyeliners that were 8-9 years old, and, you know, the color's still there.
Right. And too, like, I think people also... I just want to touch on this real quick, because I think I get a lot of messages about like iron oxide blacks, and that's all I used, you know, for at least, that's all I still use. I barely am still introducing carbon on certain eyelids. So I struggle with people when they say that the onyx from LI Pigments isn't implanting easy, they can't get it black enough. I'm like, literally, I would say 99% of those eyeliners I'm doing are just onyx from LI Pigments.
Yeah.
And they are black.
Yeah, and they last.
And so that's kind of goes into movements a little bit.
Yeah. So I'll ask you, you know, why do you think a lot of technicians can't get the same results you and I and so many other artists can get with an iron oxide black, especially LI Pigments onyx? What do you think's happening there?
It has to be the movements, which you totally get all credit for that. So it's definitely the movements and needle selection.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think depth too, Amber.
Yeah.
I think the industry's on
this.
Well,
and stretch and
Yeah. I think the industry's on this trend to, they don't tattoo deep enough.
Right.
They're tattooing very light, shallow. That's the word I was looking for. Right, light-handed. I see it all the time. Well, I went very light-handed. You know, I went very shallow, and those are the words that I'm seeing used a lot. So, So I think that makes a difference. I mean, you know, whether you and I are on an eyebrow, a lip, whether I'm on an areolar or, you know, there's that sweet spot.
Right.
We're trying to get pigment in that upper dermal layer so it heals.
And lasts.
Right? Because pigment's going to perform at its best when it's tattooed into that upper dermal layer. That's when a pigment performs at its best.
Right.
If it's tattooed too deep,
yeah,
doesn't perform good at all. It's gray, it's ashy. If it's tattooed too shallow, it's not going to perform at its best because you're not seeing really the true tone. Sometimes it's too warm.
Right.
And it's not going to last. So I think depth is a big thing. And you're right, movements.
Right.
You know, I mean, you got to do these
packing
movements.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. And, you know, and I learned that in body tattooing. So that was great. You know, I mean, thank goodness for my body tattoo, you know, history. You know, that I was in a shop with a bunch of tattooers and I learned how to pack in pigment. Because when you body tattoo, you want those body tattoos to look like stickers.
Right.
You know, and I learned that. So body tattooing changed my permanent makeup game, you know, for me. It just took it to the next level. So, yeah, I agree. And I think the other thing, the misconception about iron oxides versus carbon is they heal blacker.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you think?
No. I giggle because I actually had a client one time. I probably shouldn't even say this out loud, but I did carbon on her and it, like, all completely fell out. And I was like, what happened? Then I redid her and I did onyx with iron oxide and it all stayed in. So I was like, well, that threw that theory out the window. That's not true.
Yeah. So well, I think some technicians think carbon's like magic, you know.
Right.
It's like everything you touch with carbon's going to go in really easy. It's going to heal super black and it's going to last a long time. And that is not true. The skin will dictate that.
I was just going to say that skin is skin.
Skin is skin, right? And the skin really,
unpredictable.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's true, man. Yeah, that's good. Well, I love your wings. I wish I could still wear a wing.
I'll give you a wing eyeliner. That I can't have one, though.
No,
that I can have a little bit.
If I want one, you will give me one.
Oh, no, I won't.
I'm still your mentor.
Nope, stand your ground, guys. Stand your ground.
I told Michonne was on my podcast yesterday. So
you were going to make her do your lips? I watched.
Make her do my lips. Yeah, because I'm like, okay. Michonne takes really good selfies, and you do too, but you girls like fix all your shit, man. And, you know, I don't have time to go fix my stuff. I don't know all these fixing apps. And I don't take good selfies. I don't like how I look in a selfie, you know. So I told her, I said, look way cuter in person. And she's like, no, I like your pictures. And I'm like, my lips are too small. You know, my lips are shrinking. They're getting too thin. I said, you're going to tattoo them. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, well, you damn well are. You're going to tattoo my lips.
Oh, gosh. I'm glad her, not me. Hello?
I know.
Oh, she can do it with the single needle, though, right?
I know. Hey, that's the only reason I brought you girls in and raised you so I could have my built-in. Well, I
know. I don't know what I'll ever do. Michonne has to tattoo me for the rest of my life. So
well, that's it. And you and Michonne got to take care of me the rest of your life. Me and Kat. That's just the deal.
Oh,
that's
goodness.
the deal.
Olivia, you're on your own.
Yeah, Olivia's on.
We're busy. Booked.
Oh, so let's talk about single needle versus the large shader needles, right? Because those are the needle groupings. So artists are either tattooing eyeliners with a single needle, or they're using like a 3 or a 5 round liner, or they're using like the 5 shader, like what you and I use. You're mostly 5 shader, like I am. Have you tried? I know you tried the single needle on your brows, and you like it. You like that single needle.
Yeah. It has its place.
It has its place.
Yeah.
Do you still prefer the shader?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not doing a whole eyebrow with a single needle.
Me neither. Me and Michonne.
Even for ombre, I'm still putting a shader where it needs to have a shader to pack it in fast.
Michonne loves it.
I know she does.
I'm like, well, you got issues.
It's so tedious. Tedious. So yeah, you have to no.
I know.
When I can get it done really fast.
Really fast. Yeah. If everybody only knew.
Yeah.
How fast. And how wonderful like the 8 shaders are for those eyebrows. I know. So, yeah. But single needle, definitely, I got some really great friends that do. I mean, Clarissa, those are like totally, they're all single needle girls.
Yeah.
Na says to me, she was out here a couple months ago, And she says, yeah, when I have difficult skin, I jump up to a big needle. I'm like, oh, yeah, what's that? And she's like, a 3-liner. I'm like, a 3-liner. That's funny. That's what you think is big.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, honey, we got to get you on a 5-shader. So I was just texting with her because she's going to be out this weekend. She's like, I'm bound and determined to get a 5-shader in my hand. I said, girl, I'm going to put a 5-shader in your hand. Yeah. So, but she's really open. She's curious and she's really open. Like I was really curious and open, to the single needle. And it's fun on the right skin.
Yeah.
Especially
in the bulb.
Area. Yeah, I can see why, some people like it. But to sit down and do a whole eyebrow, no way, that ain't happening.
Me neither.
Yeah, I got to get home and have,
right.
cocktail.
Same.
That's why I told Michonne, you're not doing my lips with a single needle. I'm not going to lay in your bed for 4.5 hours. You're going to do a big 11 mag and get me in and out.
She let me do single needle on her lips.
She did.
Uh-huh. Oh, the last time we did her lips, we did single needle.
Oh God, no! I don't want the single needle on my lip. But so I wanted to mention needles because I wanted to segue in and talk about bruising and swelling. Right. This is you saw our post a few weeks ago that bothered you. Yeah. I saw it too. We both saw it and it bothered us. So we talked about it. And it was, this young artist, and
it was one of my students.
Yeah,
that had left here and done an eyeliner, and then posted it on a board, and she had swelling and bruising and all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
and got attacked.
Yeah, because a certain percentage, a lot of people think you should never get bruising, swelling, or that kind of puffiness or bruising with an eyeliner. If you get that, then you have absolutely gone too deep, overworked skin. I mean, some of the comments, there was like 150 comments, Amber. And some of these comments were...
I was trying to drive.
Obnoxious. Yeah. They were rude and they were obnoxious and they have no idea what they were talking about. And it really bothered me. We private messaged this girl.
Yeah. Well, and she eventually ended up, it got so bad that she took that post down.
Yes.
And I told her, I said, go repost it right now. I said, Teryn and I, we're watching it.
Yes. Because, and if you are doing single needle work on an eyeliner and you're not going, as deep, you're going more superficial, you don't want that dusty or pixely look, that's really popular right now, then you're probably not going to experience the bruising and the swelling that you will experience on some clients when you use a 5-shader and you do packing movements, when you're getting that solid black striking look. Right. So if I just want everybody to really understand this, so this never happens again, or hopefully it doesn't happen again. We're going to open minds and expand minds here, Amber.
Yeah.
But if artists, thousands of artists are like you and I, and they use that 5-shader and they do circular movements and not, the circular movement implants more pigment than any other movement we can use in tattooing. So if you're using a big shader, like a 5-shader, and you're doing circular movements, well, that's the needle technique combination you're going to use to get a solid black look, to get a really black eyeliner. And on some clients with that technique, in order to get that look, some clients are going to get bruised, big and swollen. I mean, they're going to look like they just left a boxing ring, right? Yep. I mean, it can be alarming on some people.
Oh, yeah.
What would you say the percentage of people get that bad?
It's not really that many. I mean, gosh, I do a lot of, it's hard for me to, because I do so many eyeliners, and it's hard for me to really say, because I do so many, but it's not that. I would maybe say 20%.
Yeah. I would say maybe even less.
Yeah. I was like, it's not, not that much.
No, I would say 20%, maybe even less. I think.
And I feel like too, it depends on because you got to remember too, I'm doing big old wings. So if I'm doing a wing, like when you stretch your skin and it's doubling in size, and I'm doing those packing movements, I'm gonna see it a little bit more than somebody that like a wedge or a lash enhancement using the same needle. So I don't know.
So it doesn't. So
I learned a long time ago, though. You told me just keep on going. I said okay.
Well, I remember your first eyeliner got bruised and swelled. You called me in the room, and
it wasn't a call in the room. I was like, I was like, I was going to say I was shitting myself, but I was like literally like sweaty armpits, like, Teryn, what? The clients, her eyes are closed because she has numbing on them. So it's like, I was like pointing down like Teryn's room's over there, and I'm like across the hall, and I'm like, Teryn, and I'm like trying not to like tell the client, like, I just messed your eyelid up. I am so sorry, but help me. It was like this full on panic. Yeah. And then you just came in and you said, no problem. Just keep on going.
Yeah.
I think you might, well, I mean, there was no question, but even we talked like, as long as you're in iron oxide.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But, and that's the other thing is when you see that bruising, you don't stop. You don't stop the procedure. You don't lighten up your depth or your touch. I mean, that client came in, paid you a lot of money for eyeliner, and in a week, she damn well wants nice black heeled eyeliner that she paid for. So you can't stop, and there's no reason to stop. It's the skin's just being overreactive because we're doing, it's not really even the needle. It's that, first of all, that skin is overreactive because not everybody gets like that.
No.
Only maybe 10 to 20%.
Yeah.
So that skin is definitely overreactive, and we're at, proper depth, and we're doing packing movements.
I have a client that keeps coming to mind that she actually documented it immediately after. Oh gosh, she was purple and black and blue. I mean, it was great. It was one of those that was like, oh, this. Yeah. It was an intense.
We get
one.
those doozies every once in a while.
She's a doozy, and I've done her, I think, 2 times now. Both times she has healed the same exact way, and then by third day, it's completely gone.
Yeah.
But now the next day, it looks like she's got pillows on her eyes. It's like way worse the next day. And then by the third day though, I have images that she's sent me, and it's just really cool to see. Like 3 days out, she's like, it's just my norm, just updating you, and like sends you the photo. I'm like, it's like night and day difference. By day 3, completely beautiful, perfect. No, most people probably assume migration and this and that. Nothing. Like it's just the way she heals. It's just the way her skin reacts.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't get alarmed anymore because you're so used to it now.
Yeah.
I know. But, but for artists like you and I, that this is our technique and this is what happens sometimes. Yeah. It's offensive to see the attacks and the comments. And it's just ignorance, and I don't mean that in an offensive way. I mean that it's just ignorant. They don't know what they don't know.
Right. When
they're making these comments. They're making these comments based on their own personal clientele experience that they've never seen that. Mm-hmm. But yet they're going on these groups and they're like, attacking these artists, telling them it's not normal. And oh my God. I mean, a couple people said she might have to go to the doctor.
Right.
I'm like, what? It's a tattooed eyeliner. She got bruised. Right. I mean, come on. But I do see that our industry is heading towards where everything's being tattooed so delicate and superficial, and they're trying to eliminate the look of swelling and all that stuff. I don't know. They even want to. I even see marketing that doesn't hurt. No pain lips.
Right.
My technique is so comfortable. I don't even use anesthetics. I mean, I'm seeing
still a
that
tattoo.
Yeah. Would you ever?
Absolutely. I already know what you're going to ask. Absolutely not. Tattoo my eyeliner without numbing? Absolutely not.
I know, but I see that. I see that out and about when I'm like perusing, social media. I just see some people advertising that they don't even have to use it. They don't use an anesthetic on their client because their procedures don't hurt. But how can tattoo an eyeliner not freaking hurt? I don't care if you're using a single needle or what.
No.
How can tattooing a lip not hurt? Okay, well, let me ask you this. You did Michonne's lip with a single needle. Was there some discomfort?
Yes.
Right?
And she said more so with the single needle.
More so with the single needle.
Than with an 18-round shader.
See, that's crazy. And there are people marketing that it doesn't hurt. No pain. My client can go to sleep. The
only thing I can think and tie it to is maybe it's just the depth.
Yeah.
It's just more superficial.
They're going so superficial.
But then it's not going to last.
But it's not going to last.
Like, you don't want to be in skin every 6 months to a year. Like,
no. How would your clients feel if they had to come back every 6 months to a year to get their eyeliner re-tattooed?
Look, Michonne and I are held to some standards, and we right off the bat knew, like, what we want to do is make it last as long as we possibly can.
Right.
So they're used to 2, 3, 4 lips. I'm like, people ask me all the time. You'd ask that question like, oh, well, you know, I've been told lips only last a year. I'm like, what? I'm like, I've seen my own personal lips now healed 5 years later, still looking amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like, lips can last. And for me, I feel like even longer than what a brow does.
Yeah.
I'm like, when done with a larger needle. So
yeah, I tell all my clients lips last a minimum 5 years,
Yeah.
anywhere from 5 to 10 years.
Right.
When they're done with proper depth and the larger needles.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody wants that transparent blush look. It's beautiful. I like it. I have no issues with it at all.
Right.
I actually like it. It looks
Yeah.
really pretty, right? But not every client wants that.
Right.
A lot of clients, Amber, they want the lipstick look.
Right.
That's what they're paying for. And you cannot get that, you know, with superficial implantation and single needle, you know, and the whip shading. I mean, all that combined is going to leave you with a really transparent look. You know, it doesn't last nearly as long.
Well, we keep talking about Michonne's lips, but we did hers, I think it's been at least 2 years ago now. And we still got her the lip blush look,
Yeah.
but with the color packing movements and with a larger needle. So you can still achieve that look,
Yeah.
but with a larger needle, and then still it lasts longer. So she doesn't look like she has lipstick on. It's given her a beautiful pink little pout that, you know, that she wouldn't have generally, and just lasting longer. But it's
Yeah.
basically, when people tell me like lip blush, I'm like, yeah, I'll give you lip blush, but I'm going to use an 18 round shader. I'll pack
Yeah.
it in and just use a softer color. Like,
Right. You know, the way
I just want it to last.
Yeah. Well, clients want it to last.
Yeah.
They do not want to be coming back every year and doing,
Right.
especially eyeliner
Oh,
and
gosh,
lips.
no.
No way. Because, you know, those procedures are uncomfortable.
Mhm.
But everybody that's seeking out permanent makeup, you know, if someone's calling you and they want their eyeliner tattooed, they got to know there's some discomfort involved. I mean, right? It's a
Right.
tattoo. I'm tattooing your eyelids.
I think, even when my clients reach out, they're like, does it hurt? I'm like, it's a tattoo on your eyelid.
Yeah. That's what I say. It's a tattoo in your eyelid. I say use a good anesthetic.
Yeah.
I'm in, I'm out. I'm quick and efficient. So, you know, it's usually a discomfort.
Right.
Very seldom do we have anybody who's in pain or beyond the level of discomfort. Sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, and
Sometimes.
those are
Really rare, though.
rare. Usually those are people that don't anesthetize well at the dentist.
Right.
There's a history of them not anesthetizing well. But I've always liked to get my lip blush look by still using my Big 11 mag.
Yeah.
And I just take my pigment, and I like organic pigments for lips, always have, and I dilute it.
Yeah.
I'm like 20% pigment, and I dilute it by like 80%.
Right.
And just circle that in, and when it heals,
Soft,
it's a
pretty
lip
result.
tint.
Yeah.
It's a lip blush. But the difference is it lasts longer than going more superficial and whip shading with full strength pigment using the single needle.
Right.
So it does last longer. So there's two ways to accomplish that lip blush look,
Yeah.
you know? Same with the like smoky eyeliner.
Right.
Like I don't like the single needle on the eyelid. I do dig it on the brows, you know, for the bulb area. But on the eyes, I've tried it a few times. So has Will. And it's just not our jam on the eyes. But to get that smoky look on the top of the eye, what do?
Dilute.
We dilute.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say, yeah, same thing with the brows. It's like,
Yeah.
I love, like, one of my favorite things to do is a dilution ombre. It's one of my favorite things to do.
I
It may look a
know.
little more intense when it leaves, but it's going to heal just like your single needle ombre. It's going to heal just the same. It just looks a little bit more striking when they
Yeah,
leave, but
yeah.
by diluting, you still get that super soft result. I love doing that.
yeah, I always felt this. I always told people this. And you're in the same boat now because you do brows like me. So I always felt like, okay, our work, our style, our powder brow, we use like the 8 shader. We dilute to get that ombre look and that super soft edge and that transition, right? And our work does a lot of times doesn't look good enough to post right after because it's too striking,
Right.
right? But damn, our work looks fantastic healed,
Yep.
right? And on the flip
And long.
and it lasts for the client. And on the flip side, single needle ombres look so beautiful, fresh,
Immediately after, yeah.
fresh. Like I get so jelly. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
they look so beautiful, fresh. And I'm not saying they don't look good healed, but you don't see a lot of them posted healed.
Right.
You don't. So, and I don't know why. I don't know why there's not more single needle ombres healed, showing where they went in and did pixelation and all that stuff. You just don't see a lot of it healed.
Right.
So I think that's why people wonder, like,
or even 2-3 years. Yeah. Like
or
you
even
said.
2 or 3 years down the road.
Right.
So our work looks
Awesome.
2 or 3 years down the road. It just doesn't look great fresh.
Right.
And we have to deal with that a little bit. So we have to kind of wait those 7. Every now and then, a freshly tattooed powder brow art style looks good, fresh, but it does look too striking.
Yeah.
But
I like that look.
I know you do. You were always trying to get me to tattoo your
like,
eyebrows
please just do
really
it.
dark with
Like this.
sharp
Come
corners and all that stuff. I said no to you for years. I'm like, no.
Michonne finally did it.
I know she did. I know she did. Oh my god.
I always kind of tell people, that's like your invention.
Whose invention?
Your invention. Your invention. Your gift to permanent makeup is the dilution technique.
Yeah.
It's like your invention to permanent makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
You
like
think
your
so?
own personal. Yeah, because I think you pulled it probably from body tattooing, and then
I did pull it from body tattooing. Thank you for acknowledging me
no,
that way.
serious. Like it's
I appreciate that.
Actually, I mean, I was gonna say Victor, but Victor. But anyways, that's my hubby. But 1 year March 1st, actually.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Wow.
But he was like, "What do you think Teryn's known for?" And I was like sitting there. He actually just said that yesterday. I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Permanent makeup, duh." And he's like, "No, what's her special thing?" Because he doesn't know all the details. He barely knows anything about permanent makeup except for what he hears over me, whatever, talking about. But I was like, dilution. I was like, it's her jam, and I'm like, I think she invented it. He's looking at me like she invented it. I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm pretty sure she invented that.
I definitely did not invent it. I didn't. I learned it in body
but
tattooing.
on the face.
I think.
Has anybody ever done it before?
I wouldn't dare to say no one had done it before me in permanent makeup. I wouldn't dare to say that because I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But what I do know for sure, is, about 3 years into doing permanent makeup, that's when I decided to go learn body tattooing. So I've been doing permanent makeup about 2.5 years. And I entered the apprenticeship with Eddie Lynn here at the Skin Factory. And at that point, Amber, no, I never heard of dilution. No one was doing it. And I always had, some of my brows were healing a little too solid, a little too this. And so I would lighten my pressure. I wouldn't go as deep as you're supposed to go. And then things would fall out. So I was kind of struggling with my color retention and having things heal smooth and being able to get predictable results. Like if I wanted something soft, how do I do that? It was hard back then because there wasn't social media and all these great classes. And there even wasn't all these great artists in PMU, right? The talent has exploded.
Yeah.
So it's easier now for young artists to go learn these amazing techniques. But back then, it wasn't readily available for a girl like me. But when I went into my body tattoo apprenticeship, Eddie, he diluted his blacks. He made his own dilutions, his blacks. He was a black and gray artist. And he started teaching me the values of black and grays and how that worked in the skin. And I started tattooing little black tattoos, black and gray tattoos, and adopting his techniques. And just one day I was like, Eddie, would this work on an eyebrow? And he's like, yeah, of course it would.
Yeah.
And I'm like, seriously? And he's like, yeah, why wouldn't it? Just do with your brown pigment, your eyebrow pigment that I'm teaching you to do here with the blacks. And I did. And I started diluting the pigments. And lo and behold, Amber, it worked.
Freaking worked.
It worked. I mean, and I don't know anybody else doing it. I had no one to go to for any guidance, nothing like that. I remember teaching, quite a few people back in the day. At first, they thought I was crazy. I remember one of the first reactions I ever got in permanent makeup when I was teaching dilution was like, what? Why the hell would you want to dilute the pigment?
Right?
It was crazy. So people kind of thought I was crazy. But, and there very well could have been people doing it, and I just didn't know them. There wasn't an internet, so we weren't connected.
Yeah.
And I made some mistakes along the way. One of them, I had to figure everything out. One of the mistakes I made is you can't dilute a warm pigment.
Right. Like a blonde.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yes. Because the more you dilute a pigment,
Thanks for teaching
Yes.
teaching me that before I made that mistake.
Yeah. So there were some mistakes. There were some rules to dilution.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. What you can dilute, what you shouldn't dilute, how much, and all that stuff. But I became addicted to it, obsessed with it. And so, yeah, I think that's definitely my jam, that diluted eyebrow. I don't think there's a better technique for a classic shaded brow than that dilution.
And what you said earlier, it's just predictable. It's so predictable. It's like
Yes.
if you dilute 50%, it's going to heal. If your technique is right, it's going to heal 50% softer.
Yes.
If you dilute 75, it's going to heal 75% softer. It's just
Yes.
amazing because, they leave looking, like you said, we were talking about the before and afters earlier with the different techniques and needles and such. But it's just amazing because immediately after it looks like they got brows like I have.
Yeah.
And they look solid, they look filled in, they look scary, and then it comes back healed. And you once you get comfortable with it and you just flat out look at your client, you're like, no, I diluted 50%, that brow is going to heal 50% softer.
Yeah.
I know for a fact it's going to. Like, I just know.
Yeah.
I know what it looks like now, but I know what it's going to heal like. Just trust me. And then when they see that process happen and it comes back and it's 50%, it's the coolest thing. I swear it's one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Yeah, it's really empowering to be able to predict your results. I think that's what every artist strives for, right? Like one day they want to be good enough to be able to predict their results. You don't want to have to like drop to a knee and pray to Jesus every time a client, leaves and comes back. So yeah, so the diluted brow.
You should probably tell them what you dilute with because people are probably
soft
wondering.
effects. Yeah, I dilute with soft effects. When I first started, before I got with LI, I was using sterile eye wash. And then, I got all hooked up with, started using LI pigments, and about 6 years into using their pigments, they reached out, wanted me to be a distributor. And I approached them about making a dilution solution. And the reason I approached them, because by this time I was all over the United States teaching people my dilution technique, and people were fascinated by it. And I was training a lot back then. But what they couldn't remember is when you dilute a pigment with sterile water, right? The pigment all sinks to the bottom really quick. And I was so used to constantly stirring. Every time you dip, stir. Every time you dip, stir, because you got to keep your pigment and that sterile water mixed. But the students that I was teaching couldn't remember to do that.
So then they were just dipping in the water.
They're dipping in the water, right? The whole
top.
top's water, the bottom's pigment. And so I called Darlene over at LI and I told her my dilemma. No problem. I can fix that. We'll just do the glycerin and this and that, and we'll keep the pigment. Yeah, so you'll put your pigment in a cap and put a little soft effects, mix it, and it will keep it all nice and suspended. And only once in a great while, go mix it up.
Yep.
And that was a godsend. So now the student doesn't have to remember every 3 seconds. Mix.
Yeah.
So student results were a much more consistent because of the soft effects.
And it's so cool because you can use that like not only on brows but eyes, lips. You can use that dilution on every single procedure to get softer healed results.
Yeah, and areolas. I don't know what I would do without dilution for areolas. Yeah, it's a godsend. So thank you for bringing it up. That's really cool. I was telling Michonne yesterday. We were talking about removal with Michonne because she's kind of become the little removal queen in the studio.
Yeah.
And by the way, I did tell her, I think I told you too, but I said, so I noticed a little like swag in your step. Like since Amber's left, you're walking around here like you're queen bitch now.
Oh, that's hilarious.
She loved it too. But haven't we noticed that, Olivia?
Yes, we have.
That's hilarious.
She's been going in the rooms and torturing the apprentices.
She should. They need that.
Yeah. I just think she likes being a little queen bitch around because you were kind of queen bitch, weren't you?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm just particular. And I knew I was annoying. I'm sorry. This is why. This is one of the things I had to. Yeah, I know.
No. Oh, anyway. So I was telling Michonne, I'm like, yeah, we were talking all about removal yesterday. So I'm like, I think my legacy, when I die, is going to be emergency removal. That's what everyone's going to remember me for.
Yeah.
That's going to be my legacy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And she's like, well, that's not a bad legacy. And I'm like, nah, I guess you're right. But I forgot about the dilution thing. Yeah. Hopefully there's a lot of things.
Now you got 2. I'm just kidding.
Now I got 2. And you.
I'm pretty sure you have a lot more.
I think you and Michonne are like my most precious and my most precious. I can't think of a most proud and those are precious and proud. I don't know if there's another word that would describe it as well. And I said that on the ATB stage when I introduced you last
As I was
year.
crying in the back.
But you and Michonne are most definitely my greatest, most precious accomplishments. Is that weird to say? Did
I think I told you that. I said in the midst of me crying in the room and saying, "Oh, you make I don't know what I'm doing," that sort of stuff. You're I said it earlier, but you're the mentor. That says hugely about you. That falls back on you and shows how amazing you are, because it's I wouldn't look.
What?
We know that I am a chicken shit. I don't want to get on a stage. I don't want to talk in front of I'm scared. But for and I don't know if that means any more, but that just shows how much more of a great mentor you are, because I would never have believed in myself to be able to do something like that. That's from you.
I could see you wanted it. I could see you wanted it, Amber. I could see it. I'm good that way, and I got to know you. I know you.
Yeah.
And you know me.
Yeah.
And I knew you wanted it, but I also knew you were afraid. I know you have a lot of fears and anxieties, and you even got mad at me a couple of times. Sometimes maybe I pushed a little bit hard, and I would say, look, hey, you told me push you. Now I'm pushing you. You're getting all mad at me and all snatchy
Literally.
at me.
We had that conversation once or twice.
Yeah, and then I'm like, do you want me to stop? Do you want me to back off and leave you alone? No.
I just don't like the way it feels in the moment. And then I'm like, ooh, that felt great afterwards. It's like a high you get afterwards. So
because there is truth to having a really successful career with clients. Just your studio and your clients, nothing else. Just that alone. If that's all you did, is you built a really big portfolio and a book, and you're booked way out with clients, that is an amazing task all on its own, and that's stressful all by itself.
Yeah.
Right? And add on top of that trainings, and we over prepare, right? Our trainings, our students are very precious to us, right? They're so thought out. We over prepare. So now you pile the trainings on that. Then we were working on the Girlz Ink Academy, launching our online courses. Pile that on there. I happen to do product development and have a store and own a conference and Skinful Beauty and other things.
Plus have apprentices at the studio.
And apprentices at the studio. So my plate is probably too big sometimes for me, and I get overwhelmed too and stressed out. And I saw that happening with you on some occasions. Your plate got so full that you got so overwhelmed. You feel, I think you just literally feel, I'm never going to be caught up. Yeah. I'm never going to be able to keep this pace, right? Yeah. And we have mental breakdowns sometimes. Yeah. I mean, me too.
Yep. And then you shut off for a day or two, and usually a day. Yeah.
I think there's been a time or two I even threatened, that's it. I'm done permanent makeup.
Yeah.
I've done enough. I'm leaving, and that's just a bad day. That's a bad day.
Right.
And a couple days pass and you're like, I could never leave.
Well, you always say this is why you need me. I'm like, to keep pushing me outside my comfort zone, because otherwise I ain't going there.
Yeah. Well, and I think with, what you want to accomplish in your career, what you've already accomplished, it's good to have a true friend, a mentor, and a sounding board, a confidant, someone you can trust in PMU
100%.
That understands, right, what you're going through, can help you through some things, maybe give you some advice, maybe, bouncing ideas off each other. I think it's important. I like that. I would not want to be a loner in this industry. I like having friends in this industry, close friends.
I was going to say, close, good friends.
There's a lot of acquaintances and colleagues. Right. And then there's your tribe, your close. Yeah,
I think after you and Kat, and the next people I was worried about was Mary and Will. I was like, oh God, they're coming for me next. No. And my world's ending. I'm like, they're gonna hate me. Teryn's gonna hate me. Everybody's gonna hate me that I love.
Yeah. So, and no, they didn't.
They didn't.
No.
I mean, Will kind of put me in my place a little bit and told me you better tell her. I was like, I've already had a conversation. So that was good. That was really good though.
Yeah,
In
because
the
they care
area.
about me, and yeah, but no, they're part of they're part of your tribe too. Mary and Will love you, so you became a part of our family, so that would never change. So yeah, and you're lucky. I think we're all lucky. I think you're
Yeah.
lucky. Michonne's lucky. I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Mary's lucky. Will, Jen Boyd.
To even have that many people
Yeah,
that
Nah,
are
I'm starting to get really close to Nah.
Yeah.
I'm starting to know Kara.
I was gonna say, yeah.
A little bit, and getting to know her more and more and more. And so our tribe's growing a little bit, but I'm very careful
Right.
on who, we're all very careful, I
Right.
should say, on who we let in, because, shit happens sometimes.
Yeah.
And sometimes people want to get close to you for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
So you have to be careful out there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, hey, girl, I think today went great.
Yeah.
And you didn't
awesome.
cry.
I mean, there was borderline a couple times.
No, I know. But no, it went really, really good. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
And and so we scheduled you. You're going to come back like once a month. You're going to be like a regular guest.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So once this is launching into March. So once it drops, it will drop on YouTube.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, the video portion will be on YouTube and Spotify, and then just audio on iTunes. But once it drops, we'll ask them, what else do they want to hear you and I talk about? Maybe we can get some ideas for some topics on, I mean, you and I could probably talk for days on end about
We
stuff.
talked about some cool stuff today
We
that I didn't
did.
even know we were going to talk about.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Because I'm a good podcast host.
You really are. That's like one of your talents is being able to talk and just with whoever, whenever, and just be comfortable doing so.
Yeah, well, I like shooting the shit.
I'm over here like sweaty hands still the whole time. I'm like, oh gosh.
Well, and I've been studying podcasters. I've been going online and I've been watching a lot of podcasts, and I've been watching, just studying them. Look, it's an art all in itself. Being doing podcasting, it's an art all in itself.
Well, and if they seen your setup, holy cow, what is going on in this room?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? I know.
I would
it.
never. I'm like, oh my gosh.
And I got, how Howard Stern has Robin.
Yeah.
I have Olivia.
Yeah.
Say
Is
hi. Yeah,
Olivia
she's
over
right there.
there?
She's kind of shy though.
Yeah.
But
I'm
she's
shy
there.
too,
She's
Olivia.
always
It's
there.
okay.
She's learning it right with me, and she sets all the cameras. She does all the stuff. It's
I
good.
can't wait to see it.
Yeah. One of these days I'm gonna
I know you got that fancy thing over there that keeps bouncing back and forth between us and showing. I see your little fingers moving over there. I'm like,
Yeah.
something's happening over there.
Yeah.
You got fancy stuff.
Yeah. I know. So it's great. But yeah, so it's good. So I've been studying the podcast and learning, watching maybe what's not so good, about a podcast, and the mistakes, and then, other podcasts that are really, really good, and really watching the host and how they interact with their guest. And one thing that I have to be really conscientious of, and I did it today, and I shouldn't be doing it.
What'd you do?
When you're talking and you're explaining something, I have a habit of going, yeah, yeah, and I shouldn't be doing that.
Oh, you shouldn't be doing that?
No, podcasters, the host shouldn't do that. I should just be completely silent on my end.
I don't know if I like that. I'm like, I like you. I like you doing that. It's comforting, and it feels like you're listening to me, and then it makes me feel like I'm just having a conversation with you.
Did
I don't
you
know
notice?
if I like the silence.
Did you notice I just let you get all that out?
I don't like it.
And I didn't
That's
say
why
yeah.
let's hear my That's why that happened.
So I guess that's one of my little mistakes that Art pointed out to me that I do. So I'm trying to get better at that and not just go, yeah, while the guest is speaking. So I guess I do
when
that.
you do the uh-hus. It's more comforting. I don't know.
So
Art.
maybe my style should adapt according to my guest.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, why can't you do that?
Yeah, because I certainly
This is
don't
your
want,
podcast.
Yeah, but I don't want to be fucking annoying to people.
I didn't think it was annoying.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
liked it. It was
All
comfortable.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you love me.
Yeah.
Say it out loud.
Love you. Kind of like you, Olivia. I'm just kidding. Love you too, Olivia.
All right. Well, thank you for coming down today.
Of course.
And you'll be here next month.
Yeah.
So we will drop in the comments what other topics they would love to hear you
Absolutely.
and I gab about.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
All
All right. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. This was Tatter-a-fact, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.